Steve _G_now talk no gi topics and compare to gi. Gi is better than no gi.
End of story. We'll just end it on that.
Done. Next question.
Welcome back to the pod. My name's Kenny. I'm here with Matt. What's going on, brother?
What up? We have so many questions.
There's a lot this week.
I asked for questions twice, and we had questions last week. We're finding out we love the interactions, and I've been posting ask us a question and we'll answer it on the pod. Well, if you noticed, last week I changed it. Ask a question.
We might.
And we'll try to answer it on the pod. And that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
And we thank you guys for all the interactions and for all the, the love and the sharing and the following and all the stuff that you provided for us in this podcast. We really appreciate it. So today we decided, hey, episode 26, let's just answer questions because we got a boatload.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do.
The topics today are your topics.
You guys are the topics.
Yeah. Bendel Checkmat Jiu-Jitsu, or at Bendel _Checkmat_Jiu_Jitsu.
Underscore when in doubt.
Is it a red flag if your coach doesn't allow or encourage you to train at other gyms?
No, I don't think it's a red flag. I think, I don't think it, like we've said before, I don't think it's a problem to train at other gyms in this new era. But if your gym is that fucking gym,
right?
Why do you need to go other places? Are you absolutely dominating everybody in your school?
True.
You know what I mean? Well, why are we looking for more smoke when you have plenty of smoke? How did Checkmat do this last week? Go.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
If you're at a smaller gym in fucking Jeff's Jiu-Jitsu,
right?
Sorry, Jeff. But if you're at fucking Jeff's Jiu-Jitsu Academy,
JJA,
you might, and the professor might get a little jealous when you do. We've already discussed this in previous episodes. But you might want to look. But if you're at a big academy, if you're at an Atos, a Checkmat, a Muay Thai, or whatever,
right?
You're gonna have smoke. If you're the big fish in a small pond, then your professor will roll with you.
Right.
If you're beating your professor, then you should cross train at other black belts in your same gym, especially if you're at a bigger gym. Look at, for example, your gym. Jason is your black belt.
Yeah.
Steve is your black belt. Where do they get their work? They probably go to Marietta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get all the smoke they can handle.
Yeah.
They go to there's other gyms in your network that the same team or sister school,
right,
that you can get your smoke at. So I don't think it's a red flag if he doesn't allow you to go. If he really wanted you to go, he probably would say, hey, go get your work in. I've known a buddy who moved to Tennessee, and they said, I remember Pancho saying hey, it's different out there. And the school that he went to their skill level wasn't as good. Pancho was like, you gotta go find your smoke. So on Saturdays, he would go to different open mats and find his smoke because Pancho was still his professor, even though he went to a Checkmat school out there.
Oh, he switched to another Checkmat, found one. Okay.
But he still had to, because, the jiu-jitsu is not as advanced as it is in California.
Yeah.
So he had to go find smoke at different schools.
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why, but I don't think it's a red flag for them saying no, because it's not, your jiu-jitsu comes down to you.
Yeah. I think we're super fortunate at my gym in that Jason is so close with Pancho, both personally and geographically, that I do feel like that we're just another extension. Well, I don't want to say that because that takes away from Jason's schooling, but I feel like we're very much a part of the same family.
100%. Well, Jason teaches a 6 a.m. class at our school still.
There's just got, random days that, Marietta guys, church, JB, they'll just show up to class, at Jason's, it'll be
there's no
Tuesday.
There's no fee. There's nothing. You just come in.
No. Just like they're part of the school,
Mm-hmm.
And so I've never, other than a couple 6 a.m. classes and whatnot, but I've never really been to Murrieta since starting at Jason's.
I don't know how it is in other countries. Bonjour. I don't know how it is in, I don't know how it is in the Midwest so much, right? But what I do know, when the bigger, because we're in Southern California, or probably Florida, New York, New Jersey, you know, the bigger states,
right?
Jiu-jitsu is pretty, you know, there's a lot of smoke.
Right.
So like, if you're running out of smoke, congrats, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's a good thing.
Like, does Gordon Ryan cross train? No, he got so good. Guys just come to get Gordon Ryan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So like, if you get that good, guys are just going to come to get you.
Right.
Like, so
Winnie the Barber. Best way. Best way to deflect those BJJ baddies that may approach you at tournaments.
Deflect. Come in for the real thing, girls. Your boy's here. Your boy's here. All 260 pounds of me. I'm a nice guy. Now, I'm not deflecting nobody. Now, I'm not dating nobody, and I'm a married man. And I love my wife, and I'm very happy. But, you know, come in for a picture. Let's say, what's up? We're all here. It's all love, baby. I'm not, you know,
this may alienate a handful of the females that listen to our podcast, but I don't think women are going to jiu-jitsu tournaments. Looking for looking for dudes. You know, it's not a pickup spot.
Unfortunately for us, fortunate for our wives, our demo is 250 pound, 200 plus pound dude with beard. That is, you know,
I got the analytics to back that up.
Bro, you're the fucking guy. Hey, yeah. That's it. It's not really like, oh my God, you're the guy from the, no, man, we're not Clark Gracie. We're not,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're old. I'm going to be 40 in 21 days. And
welcome to the club, baby.
I'm a young, I used to be, I'm a young 39. You might as well just call me 38. I can't say that anymore. Like, I'm fucking going to be 40.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I hit 40 and things start.
I'm not deflecting anybody. Like, come up, say hi, say hello. I'm very approachable. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm also very respectable. And, you know, I think that's what the good vibe is. They're like, this guy's not a creep.
Right.
He's just a cool dude that likes jiu-jitsu, makes memes. And, you know, I'm not afraid to offend everybody in a meme. I'm going to post one tonight, and people are going to come at me with pitchforks.
I don't know what this meme is yet. I'm looking forward to it, though.
And it says, you know, it just says rainbow a bunch of times. And you know what? Like, I have no ill will feelings. I have family members who are about that. I just making jokes here. If you're taking memes serious, if memes are bugging you, then I am not the guy for you.
No.
I am a one-stop jiu-jitsu shop. I post what I think is funny. And if it's not, like, you know what I mean?
If you think memes are offensive, then clearly that's not our demographic anyway. So
I posted the other day, do you need money, man? The guy's like, if you wear a fucking elite gi.
Oh, there was a lot of people.
Bro.
Yeah.
How dare you go out? People are unfortunate and don't have money. Hey, bro, relax. Dude.
And then the elite gi brand shills in there. I own a lot of gis in elite. I've had one for 3 years.
You have Amazon gis, man.
Yeah.
Good. I'm not shitting on them. They're good gis. If you're starting jiu-jitsu, elite gi is probably the gi or Fuji.
Yeah.
I would recommend. Like, yeah, we don't even know if we like this thing yet.
Right.
So yeah, wear your
don't
elite.
go drop $300-$400 on a showy roll if you're a white belt with no stripes.
Definitely buy an elite gi, but like they are very, very financially cheap. If you're gonna get a kid, if you're kidding your kid in jiu-jitsu, get him an elite gi.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, but like it's just a fucking meme. Chill. What else we got?
I don't know how to pronounce this.
The party.
That's
Party Partle podcast from Habinho. He is a black belt, one of Pancho's best friends. He's a very good podcast. They speak Portuguese. It's a Brazilian. It's a lot of jiu-jitsu. It's very similar. And Habinho will just let you know how he feels.
I respect that.
And he does not pull punches. So if you can speak Portuguese, and he has speak some English on there, but mostly Portuguese. If you can speak Portuguese, definitely check out his podcast. What does it say? I can't see cameras in the way.
Your thoughts on sport jiu-jitsu versus raw old school jiu-jitsu for self-defense?
I think the raw old school jiu-jitsu for self-defense is definitely like sports jiu-jitsu is more popular. But I also think sports jiu-jitsu is just as good.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if while you're learning jiu-jitsu for sport, every once in a while the coach maybe peppered in like, hey, you're in this position and you're in a fight, maybe you rain down some elbows.
So I do this in my classes.
Okay.
Especially when we do no gi, I say everything padded is legal. So if you can get to a wall and climb up it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say simulate strikes. Let them know you can't just chill in half.
Right.
You know what I mean? Simulate strikes. Boom, boom, boom. And I've added that. I've also, breaking news for the guys in the 6 a.m. I got one of these rubber guns.
Okay.
And we have a lot of cops.
I've got some blue guns in the garage.
And I feel like it would be a disservice if we have cops in there. Why are the cops in this class?
Right.
Because they're training for,
Right.
Because they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to say, I want you to put your gun, this gun, in your belt on where you holster your weapon. And now I want you to roll. And you're going to have to change your roll based on where your gun is on the hip because you can't show your gun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of like want to kind of implement some new stuff for the cops too. So I did buy one of those last week, I believe. So, yeah, I think you should do both. You should simulate strikes. You should, prepare for both. But like some people say, oh, sports jiu-jitsu won't work in the street. Sports jiu-jitsu will work in the street.
Yeah.
100% sports jiu-jitsu will work in the street.
Who was it that recently replied to a comment and said, oh, Dean Lister.
Shout out.
Dean fucking Lister responded to one of the comments about
the heel hooks.
Yeah. And said, I've heel hooked people in street fights. It's a good way to make sure they're not going to stand up and come after me.
Yeah. I believe him. Hey, shout out. Hey, Victory guys. Hey, man, they're going through it right now.
I know.
Victory caught fire.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if there's like a GoFundMe for that gym or anything like that.
Talked to Noah briefly about it. Noah from Flowhold, because he trains there. And he said that a lot of gyms in San Diego have been really open to letting the Victory guys come train there and whatnot in the meantime. And he said it sounds like they're going to, within the next few months, they'll be back up and running or something.
That's
like that.
good.
Maybe less than a year. We'll say that.
That's good. But yeah, man, that sucks.
But something that I thought was really neat. I think that speaks volumes about the jiu-jitsu or MMA community in general. As far as gyms are concerned, like that the fact that all these other gyms in San Diego are opening their doors up to these students and saying like, hey, you guys can come train here. We understand you guys are going through some shit right now. And that's rad. You know what I mean?
So back onto this, the old school jiu-jitsu. The one thing I think that sports jiu-jitsu is missing is how easy it is to get a hold of somebody. Because in a street situation, you have to handle strikes before you can grab.
Right.
So I think maybe if you want the feel more real world, like maybe the guy should have boxing gloves on or something. Right. And then you have to negate the distance.
Right.
Because distance from striking and distance in grappling is completely different. Distance in grappling, you just blue light and bug it and just right away.
Right.
Striking, you have to get in. Whether that's like the Hoist Gracie big teep kick into the double leg that he won every freaking UFC fight doing by using his freaking teep kick for range, or, learning how to get inside, take a couple to get your grips. Like, I think that's a lost art in the sports jiu-jitsu. It's one thing that if I said there was a flaw in the self-defense aspect of sports jiu-jitsu, it would be negating the distance when strikes are coming your way,
right,
because everybody just kind of is so comfortable just grabbing lapels or just grabbing necks right away. And then when you go to fight someone outside of Applebee's, you have to You have to manage the strikes and the distance. So that distance could be the biggest issue.
I think until maybe, let's say, the last 5 years, I think jiu-jitsu in general has kind of lacked as far as the takedowns are concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think now that the popularity is growing, especially in the no-gi realm, that you're getting a lot of this cross-pollination of wrestling, like heavily.
It's not hard to take down a regular dude.
Right.
This is what you need to realize. It's not hard to take down just a normal dude once you get a body lock on him. It's hard to take down a dude who's training.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's not hard to take down a dude who misses a big punch and you get the body lock and you just dump him.
Yeah. In reference to that too, as far as like, sometimes you think like, oh man, because you train with a lot of people, especially you go to a gym, like you're like, there's a lot of fucking people here. You know what I mean? So you think like, man, there's a lot of people here. A lot of people must train. And it feels like that. But then you go to like, so yesterday we went to LA Open at the Los Angeles Convention Center, and the IBJJF tournament is in one very small room of the convention center. And there's like other events going on that were like 4 or 5 times the size, not related to jiu-jitsu whatsoever. And you're just like, man, in the grand scheme of things, like I don't think jiu-jitsu, like even though it feels like a lot of people train, especially, you know, it's like now more than ever, a lot of people don't train. Way more people don't train than do train. So it's like, you know, the odds of you getting into a fight with somebody that actually has legit training under their belt and has been in something more than just a couple of street fights and whatnot, it's pretty minuscule in comparison to like.
And you know, I've heard that Rogan say, all you have to do is defense, couple seconds, you know, weather the storm. Like, oh, now you're tired.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's all part of it. And I think if there was a flaw for self-defense for jiu-jitsu, it's the quick engagement with no consequence.
Right.
Which you don't have in the streets.
Right.
You're not just going to walk to somebody and grab his neck and his tricep.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Right. Unless you're catching him off guard or something like that.
The guy's going to be like, what's up, bro? Like freaking take his shirt off and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a whole thing.
Right.
It's going to be a whole freaking show. A walkout, ring card. It's a whole thing. Freaking wife yelling. Your chick going, don't in your face.
Right.
Like the whole chaos. You don't, there's a nonsense happening before it happens. So those are my thoughts on raw old school. So I do wish schools would offer a little bit more of that. And then, but like, don't get away from your sports stuff because the sports stuff is very effective.
El Martinez L. What do you eat before multiple training sessions?
Well, I think the best thing you can eat is probably like a protein shake. Protein shake, something light. This your boy here is always got a doo-doo when I put a gi on. So like, you know what I mean? Like if you're doing multiple training sessions, you're not trying to eat like that big old cheeseburger or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you want to like, just like hydrate, maybe like a protein shake, something light. I don't try to like go too crazy. I don't have like a huge lunch. Like if you're doing a morning and a night, like, you know, you just kind of like stay away from like the greasy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I won't eat heavy before.
So my first training session of the day, obviously I'm waking up at 4:40 in the morning. I don't eat one meal till like 11.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm not like, I go to bed at like 10, 11. I wake up at 4 and I don't eat till like 11. So I'm doing 12 hours just because of like, I'm at jiu-jitsu. I'm not eating.
I think usually after, if I go do a 6 a.m. with you or something like that, I'll get something on the way home. Something not necessarily large, but like maybe like a egg McMuffin to get me through the morning or something. Because I'm usually pretty fucking hungry after class. But when I do night classes, I'll have like on the way to class, I'll get a big bottle of water at the gas station before class, and I'll grab like maybe like a 5-hour energy or something like that, and then like something small, like some crackers or something like that, just to get something in my stomach. Because I eat lunch at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So, and we're talking 6, so it's like 7 hours later.
I would like, to me, like I like to, like I do like a fast into my training. Then I come home, I could crush a protein shake real quick. That could buy me another 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. Because it fills you up. And then, you know, I'm eating my first meal a day, you know, it could be around 1 o'clock. And then I'm having, you know, I go to the Target and I'll buy like these chicken breasts that are already cooked, but you can just like heat them up. I heat them up in the air fryer, take them to work. Boom. They're ready to go. Have my rice or my broccoli. There's my dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not eating too crazy, especially when I'm like really about like back-to-back classes. Like, because one thing about training is when you train, you don't want to waste it on some bullshit.
Right.
And I've, like I said a couple weeks ago, I catch myself doing that sometimes where I'm like, dude, I just crushed a soda after training. What am I doing? And it's like some guilty. So like, use your training to be a springboard for a healthy diet. And maybe like get on a meal plan. Like these people like send you meals, these companies.
Yeah.
My wife just got on one. I don't know the name of it. They're not sponsoring me, so I'm not going to say it. But like you can get on these meal plans where they'll send you meals. That could be a little pricey, but in hindsight, it's like what, $90, $100 a week. But like, what are you spending at fast food?
Right.
You're spending over $100 a week.
Yeah. My wife, when she was doing her competitive fitness thing, I was meal prepping, or she got sponsored partially. She got like a heavy discount from a meal prep company. And so she was getting me lunches from them as well. And it's cool because it's easy to track macros because they give you all that breakdown information. You know it's healthy, you know it's fresh. But and it was filling. But I think I was paying like $70 a week for lunches or something like that for 5 days. Which if I go fast food, that's $15, $50. It's more for fast food, you know what I mean? And I'm eating healthier this way. So
also, hydration, the more hydrated you are, the less hungry you actually are.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're actually just thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the summer, like, cause I work in such a hot area, these liquid IVs.
Okay.
And so like, I noticed that like, I'm not eating as much because I think I'm just drinking so much water and so much, my hydration is so good that I don't have to eat as much.
Right.
So that's what we do.
Amy Colby 37, belts that should be higher in tournaments than what they are initially listed as. I think she means sandbagging.
Look at Amy Colby 37. Thanks for the question. It's not their job. The person that you think should be a higher belt, it's not their job to put that belt on.
Right.
If they've already a different belt and they put a lower belt on and go compete, then they're a piece of shit.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. They've been given a purple by the professor and they're competing at blue belt.
Look, are there brown belts that could beat me? Oh yeah, pretty sure. They're out there. I'm not freaking God's gift to jiu-jitsu, but most likely no. Like most of them I could get, right? I'm suspended by a BJJF. I can't compete because last time I competed was that purple belt. So I'm doing this whole thing where like, they're like, you have to register as a brown belt. And I'm cheap, and I don't want to register as a brown belt and then be suspended for a year, and then be able to compete in black belt.
Oh, that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
that is so dumb.
And then I have some of my boys like Clint's like, just compete as a brown belt. I'm like, no, dude. I'm about to get my second degree this summer. I'm not gonna just go as a brown belt. Never again, dude. So that's the dilemma I'm dealing with. But like I said, it's not the person's job to promote. Like some, especially smaller schools, when they're trying to develop a program or build a winning culture, they're going to belt slow.
Right.
Like just focus on your belts. If you feel like you got beat by a guy who should be a higher belt, I don't know what belt you are, Amy, but that's not your call. That's that person's professor's call.
Right. Yeah. It's not in their hands.
It's most likely not in their hands. Like I was a white belt for 5 years, and I might say I was one of the baddest white belts of all time. Because I was fucking 5-year white belt. Okay. I was good, dude. I was the king of the spazzes.
Why do you have so many stripes?
I was zebra. I was El Zebra. Some people would call me El Zebra. Some people call me the freaking king of the spazzes. I was like the white belt guy. And my professor at the time would not give me my fucking blue belt. Just wouldn't do it. Maybe I wasn't doing something that he was looking for, but it took me 5 years.
Damn.
So I wish I was a blue belt. When I got my blue belt, I was so happy. I was like emotional.
Yeah.
Because this freaking white belt was in my backseat of my Camry. And it was in the backseat of my Mazda 3. And my Camry. Like 2 cars. I had 2 cars of this belt.
Best belt is outlasting.
And I wish I
vehicles.
won the blue. And then I finally got my blue. And then I was a blue belt for 6 months and then got my purple. So it all caught up. But it's not the person's fault. It's the professor. But usually IBJJF does like a 2-year thing. So if you're competing IBJJF, like you have 2 years at each belt before you can get promoted or not.
What if you win?
Unless you win it all, an adult, I think. I don't know if don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But if you win worlds, I think you might get a pass, but I think that's only for adults.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think masters that matters.
So even like, let's say no chances is happening, but hypothetically.
Matt goes to brown belt worlds.
No,
wins brown belt.
I'm saying, let's say I go to worlds as blue belt. I win. I'm at that point. I'd be a year and a half into blue.
I think you got to wait.
Really?
I could be wrong. 100% could be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm wrong a lot.
I got to wait to compete.
My wife tells me all the time I'm wrong, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's only adult division that you can jump, but I could be wrong.
Good luck pronouncing this one.
Rufio. I don't know why I want to say that, but I just wanted to.
Got a ripped ligament middle finger. Should I train anyways?
I mean, I would. I got one. This shit hasn't bent. In 4 years.
No shit.
Yeah, it won't bend. I cannot bend it. It's just stuck.
Oh, you can't flatten it out?
No, it's bent down.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah. Give it a go.
And I bet you ripped your ligament. I'm going to tell you how he did it. He was grabbing a gi and he had a light grip and someone grip broke it. Broke his finger.
No shit.
To me, it's not important. I wanted to train, so I just kept training. Taped them, whatever. Go back to the Zoltan episode. He talks about a cool way he tapes his fingers for this very situation. Now, if you're a high level guitarist like he is, or your job is like computer, or like maybe someone like Jason who does tattooing, and you use your hands as your job, maybe so. Me, I ding dong ditch for a living. Yeah. So I set it and forget it. I'm out. The truck's gone before you come out the door. I'm out. So it wasn't important to me, but I cannot bend my finger. So a finger is a long way away from the heart. That's what I would tell my son. So I would train.
That's the advice he's bestowed upon you.
I would train. But like, how important is jiu-jitsu to you? If it's like you want to get better, get better. But just know the guys that are behind you might catch up for you.
Is that a surgery or is that just a
ligament? It might be a surgery. I guess it could be surgery.
Fuck. I don't know. Do you want surgery? Some people don't like getting cut open, so
I don't know. Or just eventually feels better and just gets stuck.
We got a long one here. Zach Z Barker asks, thoughts around injury and talking to the professor. I was in a comp training and was sparring against a guy who was 10 years younger than me. I got the win. We reset and he just exploded ego, basically. He got me with a belly down arm bar and in doing so sprained my bicep tendon. I'm 14 days out of comp and really struggling to load on my arm shoulder. Unhappy as we are supposed to look after each other in sparring, plus the cost of sports massages and maybe missing the comp. Be cool to hear you both discuss. Os.
Well, Zach .Z Barker. You don't have to compete if you're hurt. Most tournaments will refund you or give you a credit for another tournament.
Yeah, I was actually reading that in IBJJF yesterday.
So you can get accredited for another tournament, or as anybody, like they'll refund you your cash. You're not going to let your professor down if you don't compete because you're hurt. Get better. If the guy ego rushed you and he said the guy basically exploded on him. Well, obviously, what did you do wrong to let that happen?
And that could really happen in a tournament too. I mean,
so the guy just went crazy in the second round, just passed your guard and belly down arm bar. So I'm trying to think of belly down arm bar. So was he from? So he was either in like a bottom guard, and you crossed your arm over the line, and he stepped over with the leg and belly down arm barred you, or you shot in his legs, he sprawled on it, and you were in turtle, and he tried to belly down arm bar you from there. I'm trying to think like how you would get belly down arm barred. you know, you maybe he did ego rush you, but also maybe your ego didn't tap fast enough. Definitely, but if you're hurt, like for sure, just get a credit for another tournament. Don't even worry about it. What am I doing in my hand? I'm just like gay shit over here. I just told you my finger was fucked. I'm just like zap, like fucking gay boy. Fucking, I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Yeah, I for sure don't compete if you're not 100%. You know what I mean? Like, there's Chad would disagree with me.
The zombie. I got a hurt neck. I got a dislocated hip. Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah,
I get.
Chad is absolutely savage if the man just fights through every injury imaginable and competes month after month. Well,
it's probably just more important for his mental health to train than to not train hurt.
No, he goes into comps like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's, like, so some people are about that life. Would you think Chad would let his finger stop him?
No.
A torn ligament in his finger? He laughs at torn. He laughs at torn.
He's like, oh, that's it?
He's like, I got a half torn Achilles right now. Sign me up for a finger. Give me another one. But no, like, if the kid's 10 years younger and he explodes on you, I don't know what belt you are, but definitely, that sucks. Shit happens in training. Just get an exemption or get a, credit for another tournament.
Right. Yeah. Don't push yourself too hard.
Your professor is not like, this school is not living and dying on you winning a gold medal at a tournament.
Right.
A lot of people, I think, have this thing where they're like, I don't want to let my professor down. I want to represent the school. And that's true. You do. Professors have the same thing. It's like, I don't want to lose. I don't want my students to be disappointed in me if I lose in this tournament. Guess what?
Shit happens.
The people you're rolling with are also black belts.
I think your professors get excited when you compete because they're excited that you're competing. I don't think they're let down when you don't compete. Does that make sense?
No, they're not. They're not. They just want a good gym culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, just get your exemption and heal up, man. At Hamza _ El Kaisis 06. What's your take on Bullshido instructors? So basically fake black belts.
Like the guy that gave himself a black belt?
That, or like the guy who's just like, a lot of people just buy their black belts and say they're fucking black belts online.
Right.
And like just open up schools and just killing it. And then you can see these guys like, those are the guys that need to be dojo stormed. So when I see guys dojo storm guys who aren't legit black belts.
Dojo storm? I've never heard this term.
You never heard of dojo storming?
No.
Dojo storming was something back in the day. It was what the Gracies would do. They dojo storm like Taekwondo gyms and say their shit don't work. And then they would beat up the Taekwondo guy. And like, yeah. So like that's like the legit dojo storming was like a whole thing in the 90s. Like,
can we bring this back?
So sometimes it happens. Sometimes black belts will go in and almost like calling like false valor or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
And they'll go in there and be like, who got you your black belt? Where'd you get your black belt from?
Right.
And then the guys will be like,
question the lineage.
And then it'll be like, dude, what you're showing here is bullshit.
Right.
And then like, I'm a purple belt or some shit. And they'll just like bust this dude's ass. And they'll be like, you're fucking a fucking phony.
Right.
Don't lie about your rank.
Yeah.
You'll get there. You know what I mean? Just black and white your fucking jiu-jitsu photo. So it looks darker than it really is. And then freaking get your black belt the right way. Like Bullshido instructors are shitty fucking, false freaking black belts. That's dumb. Don't be afraid to be a brown belt and have a school. Sometimes you're a purple belt and you have a school. I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. My first school, Drew, that he was running a 10th Planet Academy as a purple belt, but he got the okay from Eddie.
You're under usually purple belts are teaching under a lesson plan from the professor. So like there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Don't be like wearing belts and this and that's just dumb.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's wild. Dojo storming though. Fuck,
dojo storming, it's a thing.
I feel like there's gonna be videos of that on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, a ton. You can get yourself in a nice little bunny hole of dojo storms.
Really?
Yeah. Zach. Okay, another one from Zach Z. Barker. Not a question. but just want to say, big fan of from the UK. You are international. Bone fucking jor, Zach. We just answered your question. Heal that arm.
Seems like England it's got a jiu-jitsu scene. I know the Degen guys are from over there.
Yeah. I think
like
that really helped us. Like, because they have a little following there. So
Right.
when they share the page or share my shit, like really boosted our numbers over there. So shout out to the Degenerate podcast for, hooking us up with that wing and that demo out there.
I've never told them this, but there's when you go into our Spotify profile, like from the administrative side, you can pick suggested podcasts or, so I've picked Degen as some. So when people listen to our pod or whatnot, it'll bring up Degen stuff as suggested content.
Mike from the podcast is pretty sick, dude, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He's messaged me a few times. Seems like a cool dude.
Econtu, another one. When is merch dropping, Kenny?
It's a good question. We've got a couple merch ideas floating around.
Purple Pelt Pimp shirt.
Yeah, I think that's a neat one.
We want to do it, but let's be honest with you right now, guys. The podcast isn't really making money right now.
Right.
We're just doing this because we're two dudes that like to fucking talk jiu-jitsu and get us away from our wives for a couple hours every other Sunday. We want merch. We want to do it. So when the podcast starts bringing in a little revenue, which we do plan on that happening this year, we are going to take that revenue and we're going to flip it into merch, back into the podcast.
Yeah.
That is the plan. So hopefully by Christmas, we can have some stocking stuffers for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
I think that's a good time frame, around December-ish or something, drop our first shirt. Fuck, marry, kill from Mark Legacton. Legaction. Guillotine, rear naked choke, or Darce.
I know Mark's a big Darce guy. Guillotine. I think marry rear naked because it's tried and true.
And is naked.
I think fuck the Darce because I don't know. It's there, but I'm not really that great at it. It's just and it feels like it's a hard thing to drill. And then I would say kill the guillotine.
I'm killing the Darce again. Like, why Darce when you could reverse head arm triangle, which I just stay there. Guillotine, I like. Rear naked choke is the best by far out of all. And then, so I'm going to marry the rear naked choke again. And then I'm going to fuck the guillotine because with Brandon McCaffrey's seminar, learn a couple little details on the guillotine. And, all you're looking at is like a higher level. When you go to a seminar, so we went to the BMAX seminar, 10th Planet Marietta. And as a higher belt, you're like, dude, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get at a seminar. Sometimes you're just going to get some stuff you already know. And that could really stink. But like, you're just looking for one little thing. Oh, I just switch my hips like this or something small.
Right.
And his detail, he showed a couple little details on the guillotine.
Yeah.
About like, we're turning into more of like a blunt choke, not so much a carotid choke, by pulling with the chin strap and like by like using this grip to grip the finger.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple little things that he showed.
The folding versus stretching them out thing, I think, was what resonated with me.
That really kind of changed it. So I'm kind of like excited to like get the chin strap a little more in training and try to work with that. Maybe I'll try to hit one of those this week in training if my legs ever heal. Because I'm pretty banged up right now.
That's your goal.
Let's see if we got any more. Let's see. Boom. Let's see. Dropping. Steve_G_now talk no gi topics and compare to gi. Gi is better than no gi.
End of story. We'll just end it on that.
Done. Next question. Next question. The Logan Foster. Thoughts on gyms that label themselves self-defense jiu-jitsu or sports jiu-jitsu. We just talked about this, but
I've never heard of a gym labeling themselves that.
I think like the Gracie,
The combatives.
like Hoist
stuff.
Gracie's really going into more of the combat jiu-jitsu, and Hoist Gracie's a legend, and shout out for him for that. And that's why he's like changed the belt colors and shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I guess Helio Gracie was like sour on how sports jiu-jitsu was turning.
Oh, really?
And so that's why Hoist Gracie decided that the blue bar for the black belt, combative jiu-jitsu, was like his new way that he was going to recognize. And because his dad didn't like the way sports jiu-jitsu was going, because it was kind of veering away from self-defense. So it's all jiu-jitsu, baby. That shit all works. Like, it all works. Like I said on Habinho's question, there should be every once in a while, fuck around and throw little strikes in there.
Right.
Learn the distance of a striker, right? But it all works. To say that no gi, to go on the last question, that's sorry, just to get through it, but to say that no gi is better than gi, well, everybody fights in freaking clothes where I'm from.
Right.
I used to take my shirt off when I was 22 trying to fight. Like, oh yeah, took my shirt off. I don't do that no more. You know, I'm fucking keep the fucking jelly in there. You know what I mean? But like, everybody's wearing a hoodie, or unless you're living on South Beach and everybody's fighting on the beach, then maybe the no gi is more prevalent. Or MMA, because of UFC, I guess that's why no gi will, like a 10th planet or something, will look good in UFC, because, you know, that's based. Eddie Bravo did it for MMA.
Right.
But for a street, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to, even if you're going out, I think of my time of working in the bar. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of fights, a lot of bar fights, a lot of drunk people fighting. Yeah, there wasn't pulling off shirt shit like that. It's jeans, a belt, typically. Most nightclubs, I worked in a nightclub scene. Most nightclubs aren't letting you in without a belt on. So it's like, those are all things that translate. You can grab the belt, you can throw with that, stuff like that.
Right. 100%.
So yeah, I would say that from what I've witnessed and the street fights that I've witnessed, which is many, clothing makes a lot of sense to train in.
This guy was, he won gold, Justin. He won gold. Shout out Team No Sleep yesterday. He was showing me something after class that JoJo also won gold, LA Open. Check my Marietta, represent.
A lot of gold yesterday.
She showed him something from a butterfly position where she grabs the belt from the butterfly and pulls and butterflies the guy over, and it's way more leverage to send the guy over.
Right.
Just from the front, from the knot. And I'm like, Dad, I never thought about doing that. But
from the front, really?
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about reaching over.
No. She's right here, and she butterflies, boom, pulls him up, boom.
Because she can pull the center waist
Right,
in?
she has the tricep, and she, boom, and sends him over. And it's just like so much power. And it's so powerful.
Huh.
Again, people, you're fighting in Texas, belt buckle, bam, send that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Gi, better than no gi.
You wanted examples, he gave them.
What from, again, the Logan Foster. What lessons have you learned in jiu-jitsu that have been able to apply in life off the mats?
Committing to something. If you say you're going to do something, do it. So what I mean by that is, I'll use myself as an example. I signed up for this competition. This is something we've talked about before too, as far as like goal setting and stuff, making your goal known, public, putting it out there so that people can hold you accountable. And I think that something that I've done in my career, which is something that's mirrored jiu-jitsu, is I've always, year by year, I make like a career goal for the year. Like, I want to make this much money this year. Like, I know I made this much last year. I want to make a little bit more, and I make it reasonable, but higher, obviously something to strive for. So I've got something, and I periodically check where I'm at, my year-to-date income, and what I can do to better that. So, but I do the same thing with jiu-jitsu. It's like, okay, what am I, that's where the journaling came in. Like, this is where I'm at, these are the things that I'm going to try. This is what we learned, last week. So let me try to implement some of this. Like, can I make this a part of my game now? Or is it just, is it technique lost? Sometimes we learn techniques and I'll look at it and I'll think to myself, like, I'm not at that level yet. Like, this isn't going to stick just because the setup that it takes to get here, I can't even comprehend that yet. But then we circle back a year later and we learn it again. And now all of a sudden it sticks because I have the tools around that to get that technique.
Even me at black belt, I do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not in my wheelhouse. I can't.
Yeah.
And there's been stuff at lasso, which I say I'm pretty good at.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, I don't even know if I can pull that one off. You know what I mean? Like, right. And then like, is that even work? Or like, why are we doing this many steps when you could just do this? You know what I mean? So there's stuff that like I see that I'm like, I don't know if that's like prevalent.
Right.
But like for me personally, like what has jiu-jitsu taught me? One, it's taught me that you can have a brotherhood and people say family, but you can have a connection with people. You can meet connections like I've met with Kenny. You can meet people that can really impact your life and change, because a lot of times when you're just working that 9-to-5 job or you're just like have your family members and stuff like that, you feel like, my dad or my mom or my uncle, those who I go for my advice for. And then come around 20 years old, you're like, man, I'm smarter than them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so jiu-jitsu will show you a like-minded people your age. Usually you can find, relationships in the sport with friends and stuff like that. So, that is one thing I've taken. Like I've learned from so many different people and different jobs and different career facets that I can get, I met Kenny. Look what happened. Like that was because of jiu-jitsu. Number 2, I don't trust your book by its cover. I've learned that. You see somebody, you're like, man, look at this little guy. I'm going to wreck him.
Right.
And he wrecks you. Like you learn to like have more awareness that like, you don't know what a motherfucker is until you actually connect or roll with him or feel him.
Yeah.
You learn that real quick. You come in, especially for me when I was like all like in my 20s, like lifting weights and I was just like meathead.
Right.
And then you get tossed by, shout out Tina Martinez, who's a black belt at Carlson Gracie Temecula.
Right.
And he lasso shit the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I was like, what is happening here? He's lassoed me again. He lassoed me again. He lassoed me again. Then 5 years later, I'm on YouTube and I'm like, that's the move. I didn't even know the name of it was. Like, that's what I was getting swept with. And then I started using it.
I think exactly what you're saying. You can't judge a book by its cover, and it'll show that to you from both perspectives. As a big guy towards little guys, and as a little guy towards big guys. Like just because you're small doesn't mean you necessarily need to be afraid of everyone.
Exactly.
That's bigger than you, because leverage and technique and all that stuff that you learn in jiu-jitsu, it works. People
have said that jiu-jitsu is kind of a superpower in the 90s, and I can believe it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Let's see what we got here. From Omos QQQ. Yeah, you guys, dude. Hey, you guys' names. I don't know. Do you guys prefer a lighter gi or a heavier one? Which is better for competition? Well, it's the lighter gi.
Yeah. I
don't know if we're just like, hey man, give me that double weave.
I like heavy. I think it depends on the time of year. Summertime here, when we got to open windows and doors up, because I've got some Hyperfly ones that are super light. I love them because they're just.
I love the way the gis look with the lining inside and has the picture in the back.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way it feels. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
My boy's sweating mayonnaise in those fucking things. I can't fuck with the heavy gi. So as a big guy, single weave, light as shit. I'd rather my nipples get fucking shredded on the fabric than freaking have some thick ass gi. My first gi was a bad boy gi. Still have it. And it's fucking heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing is like neon belly heavy.
I've got a Hypnotic that I recently retired that it's like a 550 grain. Yeah. Like super heavy weave. I got wife in the driveway.
All right. Well, you think what I'm thinking, buddy?
Aim for the bushes, my man.
Aim for the bushes. My name is Matt. This is Kenny. Follow us on all our social medias at BJJ Balance, at Oast Nation BJJ, at Freak Party BJJ, TikTok, YouTube. I'm on Threads. I don't know if the BJJ Balance is on Threads yet.
No.
But I'm on Threads at Oast Nation, YouTube. What's going to be the tag on the comments on this one? What are you thinking? Gi greater than no gi. That's the fucking
Gi is better.
Gi is better.
Hashtag gi is better.
Hashtag gi is better. All right, guys. Thanks for all the support. Appreciate you guys. Big things happening in the future. We'll catch you around. Os.